Hello there and welcome to the Bicycle Diaries. As you can see, I'm now back home here in the UK after my fantastic cycling trip out to Italy and the wonderful Emilia-Romagna region. While I was out there, I calculated that I rode approximately 250 kilometres and a lot of that was climbing. So I was riding up fairly long hills and some of them had fairly significant gradients. And as you can imagine, that has had a fantastic positive effect on my fitness and my cycling in general. Now, unfortunately for me, a few hours before I left Italy, the UK government placed it on the quarantine list, which for me meant that I had to go into 2 weeks of self-isolation here in the house upon my return. Now, whether you agree with it or not, I do understand that the government had to draw the line somewhere, and they are the rules. So as much as I'm unhappy about it, I have had to stay here for 2 weeks. No road cycling, no leaving the house, nothing. Basically, if I did, I faced a big fine. Now, the good news is that by the time this vlog goes out, my self-isolation period will be over and I will be free to go out and ride on the road once more. Obviously, while I was self-isolating and unable to actually ride on the road, I had to make do with things like turbo training, and although I did a couple of Zwift sessions, I have to admit that I did kind of lose a little bit of enthusiasm for it. Basically, when you're sitting around twiddling your thumbs doing nothing, that doesn't exactly motivate you to go out and do anything extra. So consequently, I feel that my fitness has suffered somewhat. Now, this is a bit of a shame because while I was out in Italy, I would say that my fitness for me wasn't too bad. If I had to put it on a rating scale between 1 to 10, I would say I was at about a 6 or a 7, and for me that's pretty good. Although performance wise, a 6 and 7 for me might not be quite the same as a 8, 9 or even a 10 for someone much fitter than me. Within the grand scheme of things, I don't think my period of self-isolation has had a massive impact on my fitness. Obviously, I was doing turbo training, so that was kind of slowing down any loss of fitness that I might have experienced, although I wasn't doing quite as much turbo training as I should have been doing. And I suppose the only way that I'm really going to know is when I go out and I do my first ride on the road. Traditionally though, many old school cyclists like me have taken a couple of weeks off around about this time of year in order to recover from their summer efforts and prepare themselves for their winter off-season training. And with this in mind, I thought I would do the same. After all, I've had no choice but to stay off the bike for the past 2 weeks, and it's also given me an opportunity to start thinking about what my goals will be for next year. So with this in mind, I thought I would announce a couple of exciting new things for the channel, and that is a couple of guests that I will be featuring quite regularly. The first person that I'll be introducing on the channel is somebody called Gary Palmer. Gary is a very experienced fitness coach that I met back in 2006 when I did a fitness test, and he put together a very intense training plan for me back in the days when I was racing. Gary's going to be on the channel every month or so in the form of a Zoom call, and during that call he's going to be giving me some coaching advice, some fitness tips and outlining a general action plan for me to help me achieve the goals that I'm going to be setting out for my 2021 cycling season. The second person I'd like to introduce is somebody called Chris Bird, who is a very experienced fitness instructor and keen cyclist. If you've been watching my vlogs for any length of time, I've spoken about Chris before. Basically, I met her back in 2016 when she was a spinning instructor at my local gym. The thing that impressed me most about Chris was that her workouts were very cycle specific. It was all on heart rate. She told us right at the beginning of the class what kind of areas we'll be working on, fitness or strength or stamina and all that kind of stuff, and plus the workouts were just very, very effective and great fun to do. And Chris has very kindly agreed to put together a couple of turbo trainer workouts specifically to improve things like endurance and climbing. Sadly, being confined to the house for the last couple of weeks means that there's absolutely no point in going through my weekly ride totals, simply because there aren't any. Yes, okay, I've done 3 or 4 Zwift sessions on the turbo trainer that accounts for maybe 75 kilometers or so, but that's nothing really to write home about. If I were to be brutally honest, I've spent the last couple of weeks moping about the house, growing my hair even longer and doing my utmost to look like Wurzel Gummidge once again. But at least I can now get out of the house and I can ride my bike on the road again. The future is looking bright. I'm really excited about having Chris and Gary involved with the channel, and I'm really excited about all of the events that I've got planned for the 2021 cycling season. And right now is where I start training for those events. Thanks for watching.